Hi everyone, welcome back. You are with Amira Celon, Mediumship Academy and AmiraCelon.com. I have done quite a number of world predictions as well as connecting with deceased, passed over relatives and also working with cold cases with the police. I'd like to record for you today my findings with the potentially deceased Don Lewis, who a lot of people think was killed by his wife or former wife, Carole Baskin. So did Carole Baskin kill her husband? Well, that's a great question, everyone. I've had a number of conversations with Don over the last few days, and I've put together a review for you about what my findings are for this particular case, this cold case, and this case that is currently being reopened. So I hope that the police do find more evidence, and I do hope that the family of the deceased or missing person do get some sort of benefit from this, and also some sort of closure in some way. So I do hope there's more evidence that comes through, and I'm sure there's a lot of mediums out there who are thinking about doing a video or thinking about publicizing their findings. I haven't really seen anybody else's findings at all yet publicly displayed, so I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to tell you what I've been talking about with Don. So here we go, everyone. So just for those of you who don't know, mediumship is connecting with spirit. On the other side, it's called proof of survival. So it's giving connections, links and facts to verify that they are on the other side, and that the people living who are receiving the message can verify the information that you're giving them from the person who has passed over. So this process, I'll just explain a little bit about the process. The way I do my mediumship is I try to get a very strong link with spirit and ask them a lot of questions and verify the questions, go back in and refresh the questions and verify until I get a very clear answer from spirit about what they want to tell you. Some people on the other side don't want to come through. Some people are very backwards about coming forwards. A lot of people are shy or reticent, or they have a personality that's not very forthcoming. So it is really, really good to work with people on the other side who have a very strong personality, because they usually come through really, really thick and fast. So I have been connecting to Don, his full name Jack Donald Lewis, the former husband of Carole Baskin. And he's given me quite a few very strong links. So strong links are pieces of information that he's relayed to me. Also images. Sometimes these pieces of information can be images or things, objects or things that could be interpreted as some sort of clue. Okay, so first he's given me a lot of gold chains. He's been showing me gold chains, so I don't know if this actual gold chain is a bracelet, it's an actual gold chain, or something that he gave Carole, gold chain as in a bracelet, a necklace, a set potentially, or a gold chain that maybe she has given to somebody to help them out or to give them some sort of gold. I mean, there is a lot of value in gold as a gift, etc. And it can also be a symbolic type of message that there is a missing link. So a missing link in a chain. That's what I also felt like he was trying to convey to me over the series of conversations I've had with him. So the missing link, I think I found out what the missing link might be. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. And also I asked him where he was, where his remains were. First I had to establish that he was passed over, and he did confirm that. And then the first thing he said was, I am with the fishes. So he's in water, he's with the fishes, and that's what he said very strongly. That was a very strong link. And I felt like it sounded like he was being a little bit humorous about it, or it was sort of like a line out of The Godfather. So I don't know if he's being dramatic or something, but that's what I got. I am with the fishes. He said that very strongly. He also gave me another symbol, another vision, very strong vision, and this vision was, I feel, a very strong link, which was a large barrel with a lid on it that would have been out of very heavy duty plastic, made out of heavy duty plastic in a black color with a lid on it. And as I worked with him more and more, he showed me when I see the visions and the messages, often it links into a little bit like watching a movie. So this is what he showed me. I asked him a number of questions, we linked it all together, and the sort of scene that he gave me was this. So I asked him how he passed, how he was killed or how he passed, and he said there was a distraction in the middle of the night and it was very dark, and Carole lured him outside with this distraction, like something was going on with one of the animals or something was happening outside. It could have been also raining outside. There was kind of a feeling of disorientation, a feeling of, it might not have been a quiet night. There could have been wind, rain, that type of thing going on, distractions of weather, and it was very dark. I just felt like it was very dark. He was also very disorientated, and he also had quite some fear as well. He had a little bit of fear going on too. And I asked him how he was killed, and he said that he was killed with a handgun. She killed him with a handgun with 2 bullets, and she put his body into a large barrel, which I feel is this plastic black barrel with a lid, and either rolled it by herself or on a dolly to an area where there is water on the property where she's living or close to the property where she's living. I did see a lot of marshes, swamp, a lake not too far from the house, and I also saw snakes. So it will be a lake or some body of water where there are fish, and it could very well be marshes, swamps, and where there are snakes as well. I asked him how far from the house, and he kept saying it's closer than you think, it's closer than you think. And I asked him again, and he showed me the size of an Olympic swimming pool, which is 50 meters precisely. So he's given me that size frame, that length, 50 meters. And I asked him how his remains were submerged in the water, other than being in the barrel and potentially out of the barrel. And he said she potentially put a weight around his body, and it looked like a metal chain or a large heavy chain, the sort of chain you would use to tow a vehicle or a car. He said that, I said, is there any DNA anywhere to be found at the crime scene where he was murdered? He said no DNA outside, it was washed away by the rain. He said no DNA is going to be found in the house or outside the house. She shot him twice with a handgun with 2 bullets, so there were 2 bullets used. That was very clear as well, very clear evidence that he's given me. No staff around, no one could hear. And it was in the middle of the night. I asked him if there were some remains to be found, if they were looked for by the police, and he said a little but not a lot. I asked him also if the lake or swamp was dredged, what would they find? And he said potentially 2 bullets, some DNA, small bones, and potentially teeth. And if he had metal or gold fillings in his teeth, then they could also be found as well. And also the object used to keep his body submerged will look like evidence. It'll look like that is not meant to be there. It'll look out of place, like a huge chain at the bottom of this lake or area. And he said that will be evidence, and it will be evident that that was used. I asked him if he was fed to the tigers, and he said no, because they were like his children. So they were like his children and her children, and she preferred reptiles and fish to have access to him. She didn't want her babies to have access to him. There was also, I asked him how he felt or feels, and he said he was very scared, and he also said he was very sorry towards the family for not sorting out his affairs properly before this happened. He seems very upset about that. He doesn't want anyone to have pity for him. He seems a little stoic, trying to be quite proud, but he was very sorrowful, very, very sorrowful. And that's how he was presenting when he was asked how he felt or how he feels about what happened. There was a situation where the van that he was meant to have driven to the airport to take an aircraft and fly out of was left and abandoned, which was quite far from the house and the area where the wildcat sanctuary is located. And he said that Carole moved the van into the place near the airport to distract the police and to build her story, and somehow she got a ride back. So I'll go more into detail about that in a bit. He also said that some of his lovers will or maybe already have come forward. He did have a lot of lovers, a lot of female friends, girlfriends, etc., but nothing was serious. And they will come forward, or they have come forward, but nothing would be found through them. I see one in Costa Rica, potentially named Maria, but he says nothing was serious with anyone there. He was just passing his time and having fun. He was more interested in doing business and making money. There could be Latinas or other women who make a claim on him, like he was going to marry them or something like that, but he wasn't at all serious about it. He said, no, I was not serious about it. It was just conversation, you know. They could have been getting their hopes up or something like that. He has remorse towards the family, but knows everyone did well and he's proud of how they are today, but he'd like for them to have closure. He's also showing me an extending a white flower of forgiveness. So he wants forgiveness, or forgiveness for his sins, as he calls it, like his infidelities and everything like that, and also for not sorting out his estate correctly before passing, or before, you know, getting into trouble. He found money making an exhilarating challenge and was addicted to it and to winning. So he felt like he got a real buzz out of it. He got a kick out of it. He found taking risks, even illegal risks, where money was concerned gave him a buzz, and he really liked it. He loved getting away with things that earned him money. He said Carole's cover-up was remarkable. She isn't stupid. He kept saying she isn't stupid. She's smarter than you think. The big baby blue eyes and the blonde hair can fool everybody. But he said she's not at all silly. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she covered it up really well. She kept showing me a chain, which is symbolic of a missing link, and there will be something that will break the chain of events she has covered up. So there will be a missing link of evidence that will come up that will glue all of this together. A missing piece of evidence will show up if people look for it, is what he said. I asked Spirit in general, my guides and Spirit at large, will there be enough evidence to convict her? Will she be convicted? And they said, for now, no. Unless she has a living person to testify against her or a murder weapon appears. The evidence may not be enough, though everyone will know that she did it. That's what I got from Spirit. Everyone will know that she did it, even though the evidence is not enough. And a lot of people are already on that bandwagon. They already think that she did it. So that's what was prevalent there. Regarding the arrest and conviction, or some sort of arrest, there can be a loophole in the system for the family to regain a larger part of what they lost financially or through their inheritance. The police will say there is a motive on Carole's part to commit the crime, but the evidence will not stick in a court to commit her for murder, but she may get something else like fraud or tampering with evidence. I also asked Don, because there's a lot of speculation going on with different people, different speculations, etc. Did your death happen to be connected to the airplane or flying over water? He said no. It was closer than you think. It was closer than you think. He just kept saying that. And he also said regarding the aeroplane and flying over water and a potential crash or something happening out of the aeroplane or with that, he said that would be too complicated. That would be too complicated, no. For her to do something like that, or to concoct that. I asked Don if Kenny, who was a worker on the property and close to Carole, was involved, and did Kenny touch your body? Did Kenny kill you, or was involved in the murder before, or moving your body? And he said no. He said, but He was involved in assisting the cover-up after the fact. Carole probably called Kenny to pick her up from the airport and told him a story of how Don left an aircraft and she dropped him off the airport, but she didn't want anyone to know about it, so it was staged and Kenny or somebody else picked her up. And you know, the whole thing about the police picking her up from the store, which is down the road where she apparently allegedly went to get some milk for the baby cats, was nowhere near the airport from my understanding. The whole van staged at the airport and abandoned at the airport with the keys in it was a totally different thing that happened at a totally different time. Probably on the Sunday during the day, and I feel like he was murdered on the Friday night or the Saturday night. Afterwards, when Kenny noticed Don was missing or not coming back because he was working on the property, he picked up on her potential criminal activities, because he has a little bit of a criminal mind, or he can pick up on things, and she paid him off to keep him quiet and watch her back. But she would have, she panicked and gave him gifts, guns, property, etc., to keep him quiet because she panicked. And also she felt out of guilt of what she did. She overcompensated Kenny in material ways to keep him calm, at bay, to cover it up, to keep quiet, to not go digging for anything, to not go talking about stuff. So she panicked, and she would have also acted like the damsel in distress, and he helped her out. So she plays the damsel in distress, or she did do, because Don said Kenny's criminal mind smelt a rat, and she acted like the damsel in distress and he helped her out, possibly also with the will or other paperwork, or just helped her out on and around the property, or with the van, moving the van, picking her up, doing something like that. So that's the findings I have at the moment. My Mediumship Academy, the US Mediumship Academy, might come up with some more information, or might come up with some additional information. This is all my findings. They could very well come up with some additional information to add to the case. And I do hope that we do get this case solved and something is sorted out. So thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for liking, subscribing and sharing. And until next time, all the very best. Take care. Ciao for now.